Air Force's Top Gun, the Sukhoi 30 fighter blasting off for a night mission. The dazzling lights of Las Vegas in the distance. Joining the Sukhoi, the best of the West. Fighters such as this, the American F-16, in addition to fighters from the French and South Korean Air Forces. It's all a part of Red Flag 2008, the world's most advanced aerial exercises, held here at the Nellis Air Force Base in the Nevada desert.
Whenever one speaks about the Indo-US strategic equation, one often speaks about the nuclear deal. But perhaps the most visible example of that close strategic relationship is in the field of military-to-military cooperation. Exercises like this at Red Flag 2008 are exercises the United States reserves for only its closest allies. India is now considered among them.
So what's so special about Red Flag? And did the IAF really need to send 247 personnel, 9 Sukhois, 2 tankers and a heavy transport halfway across the world? In one word, yes. And here's why. Red Flag replicates a full-scale air-land battle which is conducted and monitored in the world's most advanced range. Every move of a fighter is detected real-time, and a complete three-dimensional picture of the battle being waged is available to exercise observers on screens.
Checked in as well, correct?
Mission results are instantaneous. In other words, if a jet is shot down in mock battle, the pilot is told to return to base. The loss of a jet on a mission means that the remaining fighters in the air have to be extra vigilant as they counter enemy jets, in addition to threats from the ground, such as surface-to-air missiles. This is as close to a real war as any Air Force would like to get. In these exercises, the Indian Air Force was flying as part of what's called Blue Force, consisting of American fighters along with the French and South Korean contingent flying state-of-the-art Rafale and F-15K fighters. All these fighters were vectored to their target by a flying radar, an AWACS jet. Their mission: neutralize the air and ground defenses of Red forces flying aggressor F-16s and F-15s. In other words, Indian Air Force Sukhoi 30s, along with their allies in Blue Force, were tasked to destroy Red Force surface-to-air missiles, in addition to taking on Red Force fighters, which were trying to intercept them. Helping them to do this, para-commandos of the Indian Air Force called the Garud Force. Their task: help destroy enemy airfields. So how exactly do you put together a multinational military coalition and expect them to fight together in the world's most challenging environment? That perhaps is the biggest challenge.
Different languages, different accents, that's a big thing. And different platforms technologically, so to be able to put the whole act together in the air and still be able to perform as a part of a team, that requires work, and I think we've done exceedingly well in that. Professionalism, that's it. It's the bottom datum line for us, because one thing we take very, very seriously is professionalism in our Air Force, and that is something everyone's acutely aware of, that you're participating in an international exercise and the world's watching you. So unless you're a sound professional, you wouldn't be able to deliver the goods under circumstances like these.
Chal.
For the Indian Air Force, there was a lot at stake in these exercises. The Sukhoi 30 fighter, the cutting edge of the Indian Air Force's interceptor fleet, is considered among the finest in the world. Knocking out the Russian-designed jet in mock air combat would be a real feather in the cap for any aggressor fighter pilot worth his salt. And considering the quality of the opposition, the Indian Air Force's younger pilots, many of whom participated in these exercises, clearly had their work cut out.
Identified a squadron about a year and a half before the exercise, and we kind of froze the aircrew. A bulk of these aircrew were young, but we were able to give them concentrated flying for about a year. And the intention was that the younger aircrew would stay much longer in the fleet. So thereby being able to disseminate the experience that they gather from here within the fleet itself, and it will remain in the fleet for a longer duration of time. So yes, we have a lot of young aircrew which we experimented with, and I think they've done a marvelous job of being able to take on the responsibility and shoulder it so well.
So just how did the Indian Air Force fare at Red Flag? Well, over the last several years, international observers have been surprised at the performance of the Indian Air Force's pilots in multinational exercises. For an Air Force which developed its techniques in isolation through the years of the Cold War, the IAF's top guns have consistently been able to perform better than their training partners across many forces. And at Red Flag it was much the same. And though the Air Force insists that these exercises are for training purposes only, there's always bound to be an underlying element of rivalry among highly skilled aviators from different air forces. Senior American officials guiding these exercises were unequivocal in their praise of the Indian Air Force's air warriors, appreciating the lengthy preparation process the IAF was involved in ahead of Red Flag 2008.
It's been nothing but great, world-class, great aircraft, great leadership, and it's been a pleasure. It started with an awesome preparation. We often say in sports that proper preparation prevents poor performance, your 6 Ps. And the Indian Air Force has been the champion of that. One, with starting with a great spin-up at Mount Holland Air Force Base to really start to employ that crawl, walk, run technique that we use here for Red Flag. That starts with understanding our communication standards, understanding the pace of it, and just getting used to Western-style battle management, Western or U.S.-style training rules, and our local continental United States restraints with working with inside of an ATC airspace. Once they arrived here at the Flag, it was obvious that they got world-class training at Mount Holland because they were spot on, ready to really run ahead of the rest of the pack. But they have really matured. Their young warfighters, which is the audience here at Red Flag, has stepped right into the mission and really assumed the responsibilities to meet this great threat we provide.